Hey guys, and welcome back to the No Name Show. And today's topic is going to be a little bit different. We're still going to talk about technology, but we're going to talk about it in a different aspect. I wanted to just really ask a question. What in the world is going on with Walmart?
A Milwaukee Wal-Mart closing its doors. The store on Silver Spring near Appleton shutting down next month.
Shocker tonight for suburban shoppers. Walmart announcing it's closing 3 stores.
The stores to be closed are spread across the area from north to south in Lincolnwood, Plainfield, and Homewood.
It's kind of crazy. You don't hear of things like Walmart closing.
So over the past few months, we've been noticing a trend with Walmart lately, and they're basically closing down a lot of their stores. And this is all across the country, and it begins to bring on a little bit of a disturbing trend that we're starting to see across retail organizations. Now, most of what Walmart has been saying to the public is that this is due to lack of performance in their stores.
There have been rules that have been changed that make it not something that the police are going to prosecute, or that the criminals won't be prosecuted below certain levels. Does that matter?
If that's not corrected over time, prices will be higher. Right. And or stores will close.
So basically referencing thinking that it's a revenue issue where we're not making as much as we should be making in these locations. But when you start thinking and digging deeper, this could mean something a little bit different. Take this for instance.
$121,891.31. That's a total amount of money that 34-year-old April Fern Snagosky embezzled from Moscow's Walmart during her 5 years as their asset protection specialist.
Now, after you start looking at the point of view of theft, right? Theft has become extremely huge and rampant across the country just because of new laws that have prevented, companies in the past, retail organizations in the past, from prosecuting those individuals who are caught stealing in their stores. I personally worked in retail for a few years in the past, and I can tell you there were many times where we would catch someone who was stealing, and we had evidence. We had videotape of the person putting things in their pocket. We had videotape of them taking it out of the store. We write down their license plate because it was definitely not on the individual who works for the company's behalf to go running after someone trying to prevent someone from stealing. So when you start thinking about it from that point of view, it's like, well, what makes sense? Do I, do the right thing by protecting the company, or do I do the right thing by protecting my life? So of course, the company sides on protect your life first. The product is product. They'll write it off on their taxes as a loss. But when you start thinking deeper into this, when all of a sudden now your stores across the country is seeing so much theft, that the theft now becomes a issue with shrink. And if you don't know, shrink is a term used in retail that is basically stating how much devices or products that I'm actually losing versus someone purchasing it.
Over the past 3 months, a crew of thieves have stolen more than $3,000 in kids' toys from this Walmart. And it all culminated this morning when one of the suspects threatened to shoot a loss prevention worker. Now, stealing is already a problem, but it's the overall problem of theft from Walmarts across the country that's prompting the retail giant to shut down some of their stores.
Now, I think that is one of the reasons why Walmart is looking at closing down so many stores, is because their shrink is so high. I don't know what Walmart's projected goals are or what they would like to see these stores make. But when you take a store, or let's say take a city like Portland, Oregon, over the last few years, we've noticed that we've seen a lot of rampant things happen since 2020 in Portland. And that's a different story I'm not getting into. But this is a city that has over 2.2 million people in the city. And they have exactly right now 5 Walmarts for the entire city of Portland. They're about to close down the last 2 Portland-based Walmarts that's in the city area very soon.
Doors are closing at the only 2 Portland Walmarts, and hundreds of customers are left finding a new place to shop.
Walmart says they're closing both Portland locations because they were not meeting financial expectation.
We got to resolve the shoplifting one way or another if that is simply the problem.
So when you start looking at that, people that are in the area now have to start looking at other places to go shop for their groceries and whatever goods it might be. So this is a could be a blessing for a Target or someone like that kind of organization in the area, but also it could be a curse because those thieves are going to come for them next. And that's where we got to make sure that we're trying to, get an idea of what's going to happen as we start going forward. Now, we can only hope that the laws change and, prosecutions can start happening to those who are blatantly hurting our communities because they're actually hurting themselves without knowing what they're doing, just trying to make the fast buck or get off really quickly by stealing something. Because eventually that same person that stole from that store has to go and buy something from that store. They have to go buy milk, eggs, groceries for their families to live off of. And if those stores close, now they've got to go further away and potentially pay more money because they've already shut down or forcibly shut down that store. Now that's from the shrink point of view. What's another factor that could pop in there? Well, what about labor, right? Recently, we noticed that Walmart has made a big stride to say we're going to start committing to pay our workers more.
A lot of Walmart employees are getting a raise. The retail giant announced plans today to increase its minimum wage for store employees. Beginning in March, employees will earn between $14 and $19 an hour. A Walmart spokesperson says employees currently earn between $12 and $18 an hour.
Which I commend them on. Paying those workers, those frontline workers, their just due, or at least most of what they're due, at $17 to $20 an hour or more. That's outstanding. The problem comes in, though, is when you're paying real workers more money, but then your store has a lot of shrink. Do you start to see where things are starting to add up? That balance is still tipping the wrong way. I've got a profit loss here because I'm not making any money because I'm paying my workers more. Then I got a reduced amount of profit or product to sell because it's getting stolen and I have to write it off. And then you start looking at the insurance carrier. What they're going to do is start charging you a higher premium in those stores to cover those losses. So it becomes a double-edged sword there. How do I protect my company and still pay those workers what they actually are needed? And it's just a no-win situation for certain companies. Now, Walmart's a huge organization. I'm not cutting them any slack at all. I personally think that they need to reevaluate what they're doing in these areas and try to find another model. And that brings into the technology part of this conversation. Well, one thing I can tell you right now is they need to reevaluate how they're actually processing their payments. They do have a very robust, automated checkout system where you can actually go in and check out yourself, self-checkout. But there are things that are missing from those. Simple analytics on those that will help guide a person from, swiping something that shouldn't be swiped. The old banana trick. If you haven't seen that, please look that up on YouTube. It's interesting, and I would recommend you not try it, but we've seen people actually make this work. So now we started looking at what other ways can we help Walmart or a Target or whoever else. And for those mom and pop stores, how can we prevent people from losing things? Well, if you look at Target, you see them starting to lock up their stuff. The most important things that people are stealing the most. We've always seen it in the electronic area, but now we're having to see it in other spots. This, my friends, is going to lead to an online model. And this is only going to benefit the Amazon.com, Walmart.com, Target.com, and those large corporations. It's going to hurt our small mom and pop businesses that are out there. Because what it does is it basically puts everyone in a model to where I can have my inventory on hand in my stores that you can go grab today. But if I have it out on the shelves just sitting there, it's at a potential loss area. It's going to potentially get stolen because someone's going to want to come in there and just take a 75-inch TV off the floor. So how do you fix that? Do you build a warehouse model within the warehouse stores? That's one way. Basically taking all the big ticket items and locking them up behind closed doors, putting tags out there for the person to do it, making them pay for it before they go take it out, just the way Sam's does it, just the way Costco does it for those electronic items. But that's not going to stop all the theft when it comes to the little things. Clothes, jewelry, you start talking about groceries itself. That's going to be the hardest thing to do. We can't lock up every box of cereal in the store, can we? Absolutely not. So now we have to figure out ways to prevent a lot of this theft. Is it meaning that we have to hire in-store security again, where you have physical security that is there that can arrest someone in the act? Because even though these laws state that I can't go ahead and take footage and give to the police and they're going to go out there and massively hunt down the people who stole from me, if they're stealing and a police officer's right there and he catches them, they go to jail. That's it. So is Walmart going to have to start investing in paying for police to basically be on staff in their stores 24/7? That's a possibility. They actually do it already in some areas. But could Target afford that? Could Best Buy afford that? Don't know. But I can tell you, with all the theft that's running rapid, we have to continue to see other ways to do this. The analytics, for instance, IoT, being able to put a camera at the front door, so if a suspect that we know has done thefts in the past walks in through that door, it scans their face, it basically sends it to a database, it goes to a 24/7 security operations center. They are instantly notifying the local authorities to say that this person who is known to be a theft is in a store. Here's their location. Now I can roll a police car to that location within 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 6 in some areas. And now if something did happen, there's a much higher chance that you're going to get an arrest. Is that a very expensive system to add in? Not really. Now when you look at how much money that you potentially have lost because you didn't do anything at all to try to fix it from the beginning. And this is a Walmart problem right now, as they are expecting to close over 269 stores and counting. That's it for today, and I just wanted to just get that out there because I don't want to see this happen and continue to happen across the country or in your neck of the woods. We want to be able to kind of give some solutions out there. So feel free to look at things like IoT devices, specific video analytics that can really help reduce and maybe even stop the crime in your area. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day.